Go. I do really think it's true. Greed is destroying the world.
That is a very true statement. Like, by far, bro, by far, that is a very... We gotta watch that video, man.
Have I watched too many awful YouTubers that, like, this is just entirely refreshing? I feel like this kind of commentary, especially from, like, his content is apolitical necessarily, right? Like, his content is never, like, overtly political at all.
There's not a mic better than this mic.
But this is incredibly refreshing. This is a great entry point video. A great entry point video into this kind of stuff. This is the type of shit that, like, actually turns people, I think.
I like his beginning reaction. It's cool.
In their own way, this is the best the economy.
Wait, this ain't even, bro. What the fudge? This ain't even what I'm looking for. There it is. Yeah, we are in the best economy, but it's
sure. The first step for
feels
using.
Too good to be
I feel
true.
like for the past 3 years, I've heard over and over again that a recession is about to hit.
Yeah.
I feel like for the past 3 years, I've heard over and over again that a recession is about to hit. The stock market is going to crash. The housing prices are going to come back down to earth any day now. And yet somehow all of these things keep not happening. And for most people, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean the economy's good? My dentist just tried to get me to sign up for a credit card. Since the pandemic, the cost of living is
That's not lying, though. A dentist really do be trying to get you signed up for the credit card.
Skyrocketed. Inflation is out of control. Groceries have never been more expensive. Layoffs are happening at an alarming rate. At this point, a college degree might be more likely to get you into crippling
Girl, what time is it?
debt than it is to help you find a job. And even if you have savings, you're more than likely one stroke of bad luck away from losing it all to medical bills. And yet some people will look you right in the eyes and tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. The numbers are green.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
Is this guy stupid? The problem is each of these people are kind of correct in their own way. This is the best the economy has ever been. If you already have money. If you bought a house 5 years ago, there's a chance it's already doubled in value. If you invested in the S&P 500 in 2021, you could be up as much as 80%. And that's not like saying, you know, you'd be rich if you just bought Bitcoin in 1973. That's just the regular stock market. You didn't need to have some genius level of foresight to be able to do that. You just needed to already have a bunch of cash sitting around. And obviously for the overwhelming majority of...
I mean, it's how you look at it. I mean, if we could all have money, we would, but it's just not how, it goes.
People, that is not the case. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not thinking about the stock market. If you're in your 20s, you haven't even been working long enough to save any money to invest. You don't get to benefit from rising home equity if you don't own a house. The only thing this graph represents to you is how much further away that dream is getting. Right now, the average age of home buyers is 59 years old. What a depressing statistic. This is the problem with an economy that
59 years old is a super long time to get a house. No one wants to wait that long, man.
Disproportionately benefits asset holders instead of the people still trying to earn them. Wealth grows exponentially, but wages aren't even outpacing inflation, which means if your salary hasn't been going up every year,
you're not really getting much money. You're making less money.
Effectively making less money. Meanwhile, the fastest way to make $1 million is to just already have 10 million. Leave it in an investment account for a year and congratulations, you now have $11 million. At a larger scale, this is why it feels like there's two different economies happening and they're both moving in opposite directions. 50% of the stock
It's not going to be a middle anymore. It's going to be the rich and the broke. That's just how that's how it's going to happen. That's how it's going to play out. I mean, I know it sucks, but that's what the world has came to.
Is owned by the top 1%, and only 1% is owned by the bottom 50%. Don't let somebody tell you that these numbers going up should discredit your own lived experience. Don't let somebody who's benefited from untaxed inheritance or years of compound interest granting them passive income tell you that your problem is you're just not working hard enough.
Yeah, no, facts. They'll never relate to you because they don't understand your struggle. They don't understand your pain.
Not watching this video, spectacular fashion, trillions of dollars of investments cannot get paid out, and everything goes up in flames. Or best case scenario, a few billionaires get even richer. Wait, is that what we're hoping for? All right, you're gonna have to bear with me while I go on another AI rant here. I know I do this like every 6 months, but it's not going away. It doesn't count as beating a dead horse if the horse is still alive. We gotta kill that horse first. People largely do not like AI and are worried about the future it imposes. It's currently being used to make a bunch of promises that almost no one asked for. The main appeal of it comes from corporations who see advancements in AI
102 trillion
as a way to
AI.
further reduce their dependence on human labor. The only thing cheaper than outsourcing.
I'm telling you, if y'all don't find something to do, if y'all don't find content creation or something to do, Grandma, he is too loud. I can't. Work for you. How can I work for you if you don't let me work? Step two. How? How can I do both?
Jobs is just eliminating them altogether. The wet dream that soils the sheets of every CEO is a company that's somehow run entirely on its own and they can just sit back.
All right, bro. Balancing life is just. Oh, bro.
And collect all the profits.
You gotta
for
remain
themselves.
calm,
No more dealing
bro.
with pesky labor
Gotta remain
laws or
calm.
health insurance or can I have Saturday off? My family died. No.
I don't feel like that's something you should even say or even talk about. Let's skip a little bit.
Data centers that are popping up around the country. Who's funding them and who's getting screwed over in the process? For example, some residents in New Jersey who noticed that their power bill kept going up even though they were
Power bills only gonna get higher and higher.
actually using less electricity than usual. Well, it turns out it's due to an overall supply cost. Basically, when the total amount of electricity usage in an area goes up, power companies tend to pass those higher costs onto their customers. And for the past several years, electricity usage has been skyrocketing, with over half of that increase coming solely from data centers. Your utility bill is going up because Elon Musk wants to pretend to have a girlfriend. You see,
Fuck, bro.
AI doesn't just exist in some theoretical space. It has to be trained on
That's what happens when you don't get enough coochie, man. You start wanting to do shit like this, man.
trillions of gigabytes of data, and that data has to be stored in a physical location. To power this, it requires an absurd amount of electricity, which generates an absurd amount of heat, which then requires an absurd amount of water to cool off. Most of these buildings use over 1 million gallons per day, roughly the equivalent of 10,000 people. This would be even more problematic if they were being built in areas where water is extremely scarce. So we should be good as long as we don't build a bunch of them in like the middle of the desert.
Whoops.
But to be
He said whoops. I think we're already doing that, aren't we?
water, they also poison it. Every part of this process, even more problematic if they were being built in areas where water is extremely scarce. So we should be good as long as we don't build a bunch of them in like the middle of the desert.
Whoops.
But to be
Bro. Why, bro? He just pretty much showed that, yeah, they are building it.
fair, they are extremely efficient about it. They don't just use the water, they also poison it. Every part of this process is wasteful and destructive, and this is only the beginning. AI is still a relatively new phenomenon, so we're only just starting to see the effects of it. But the Department of Energy projects that the percentage of electricity used by data centers could nearly triple in just the next 3 years. And who gets to pay for it? We do. It's hard for me to accurately express how infuriating this is. The giant buildings that power this stupid fucking technology are being
They got Donald Trump hitting the Winnie Pooh.
subsidized by people who just happen to live near them. Oh, but hold on, because they're technically contributing to the operating.
Hold on, chat. I want something to drink. Hold on. I'm back.
costs. So does that mean that they get to share in the eventual profits? No, of course not. They're more like involuntary investors doing it for free, or really worse than free, because a lot of them are being kept awake at night by the deafening hum endlessly emitting from the factory shoved into the backyard of their homes that have now surely plummeted in value as a result. But hey, at least they're doing all of this to make a product that hopes to replace 80% of humanity. It's not enough.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That's shit. Like 80% of humanity's workforce is gonna be gone due to AI. Like, just really fathom that. Just really think about that. How many people are really useless? I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's the truth. Majority of what people are doing to them is useless because we got AI to do it.
That these people already own everything they could
ever want, and they want
could
more.
So easily afford to pay for these things without even noticing that that money is gone. But why would they do that when they could simply have poor people pay for it instead?
Nothing will ever be enough. No, it won't be.
Because nothing will ever be enough for them. You know, when a rich person makes some shady deal to screw over the working class, people will joke that they just need that money to buy their 4th yacht. And like, I don't even think it's that. They could buy 1,000 yachts and still not run out of money. They don't want
facts, bro.
To spend their wealth. They just want.
Bro, that is a great picture. That's a great picture.
Want it to get bigger. It's the same obsession with seeing number go up that keeps me addicted to old school RuneScape, except the only life that's ruining is my own. What they have is a disease. They have been scourged.
Not lying. All factual.
With the blight of insatiable greed, cursed to an endless pursuit of wealth that will never bring them
everything
true
he has
happiness.
said is pretty spot on,
I would almost feel bad for them if they weren't actively destroying the world in the process. One of the most frustrating things about this problem is that if you even try to suggest that maybe these guys should just have a little bit less money, like you guys can still be rich, whatever, just turn it down
a notch. Just why not? What's the problem with that? Why can't? Not saying for you to give away your money to charity and shit. Don't do all that. But just, can you just understand that you guys have enough? And it's cool. Like, you ever realize that? Okay, I got enough now. You feel me? Like, greed is a sickness, chat. It's a sickness that will never go away, I don't feel like.
A notch, because you're kind of making shit terrible for everybody else. You're treated like you're crazy. No, this is the American way. If you don't like it, then leave. And yet these ideas aren't radical. They're not even new. Most people who advocate—
no, they're not new. They've been here forever.
For a more progressive tax system are only calling for a return to something that used to exist in this country. We just forgot about it. So I think it's important to do a little history lesson here. If you can believe it, there was a time where the working class in this country actually had it really good.
I mean, we have it really good right now compared to what it used to be. But that's only because Trump is in office.
And it was mostly because things got so bad during the Great Depression that the government was worried about the country collapsing. Thousands of banks had closed, millions of people lost their entire life savings, unemployment peaked at 25%. So in fear of a revolution happening, the government was like, all right, fine, we'll give you livable wages. Just please put that musket down. I don't like the way you're looking at me. So the New Deal was born, and with it came Social Security, better labor standards, the right to unionize, a national minimum wage, an 8-hour workday. And over the next 2 to 3 decades, America—
history lesson. Quick little history lesson, chat.
Became the most prosperous country on earth. Productivity skyrocketed and wages rose with them. Extra profits weren't just redistributed to employees, but their employers were proud to do it. They would brag about how lucrative it was to work for them. Look, 37% of profits went to our employees last year because this is a team effort, and when we win, they win. In 1943, Johnson & Johnson puts out this mission statement that's like, here's our list of priorities in order. Customers number 1, we got to make good products. Employees number 2, everyone who works here needs to feel valued and respected. Our community number—
good qualities. All great qualities, by the way.
3, we all want to live in a better world, and as a company of our size, we feel like it's our responsibility to contribute to that however we can. And finally, all the way at the bottom, our shareholders can just have whatever's left. Of course, we need to make a profit to survive and grow, but that should just come naturally as a byproduct of focusing on these 3 tenets. Compared to—
yes, pretty good 3.
Modern
Solid.
corporate standards, this is all such a foreign concept that it almost sounds like it's coming from a fictional universe. But this actually happened. This was just America.
Wait a minute. He said from a foreign standpoint, this was all like a fairy tale?
Statement that's like, here's our list of priorities in order. Customers number 1, we got to make good products. Employees number 2, everyone who works here needs to feel valued and respected. Our community number 3, we all want to live in a better world, and as a company of our size, we feel like it's our responsibility to contribute to that however we can. And finally, all the way at the bottom, our shareholders can just
all the way at the bottom
have whatever's left. Of course, we need to make a profit to survive and grow, but that should just come naturally as a byproduct of focusing on these 3 tenets. Okay,
I see what he's saying. He's basically saying it's like it's a loophole. That's basically what it is.
Compared to modern corporate standards, this is all such a foreign concept
I
that
understand
it almost sounds like it's coming from a fictional universe. But this actually happened. This was just America 70 years ago. Now, during this time, what do you think the tax rate was on the wealthiest Americans? For reference, in
2025?
2025, the highest income tax bracket is supposed to be around 24%, but because of how many ways there are to circumvent the rules, it often ends up being as little as 3%. For someone like Elon Musk, who doesn't take a salary from Tesla and instead just owns a large percentage of its stock, as long as he doesn't sell any of that stock, then technically there's no income to tax him on. Now, we can still leverage the value of those stocks to make...
W Elon, man. W Elon. But put in the comments, W Elon. I mean, you got too much money, but I mean, I gotta admire somebody that is better than people. You see, at some point, guys, you guys have to realize you have to admire the people that are just better than you. If they make more money than you, they're just better than you. They might not always be better than you, but I can admire and be like, damn, Elon, you is that man.
Purchases,
you feel me?
Like how money works, but it's still not taxable because of...
But we can all be like that. You feel me? You just gotta just go hard.
The rules. This is how people like him and Jeff Bezos can be, in terms of net worth, 2 of the richest people on the planet, and in some years pay $0 in taxes.
That's
in the
crazy.
middle of the 20th century, the tax rate on the ultra wealthy was not 3% or 20% or even 50%. It was between 70 and 94%. It honestly sounds crazy, but even a lot of the people being taxed understood that it was necessary for society to continue to exist. And having a strong middle class was a crucial investment into the future of the country. But I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of interesting that during what's referred to as the golden age of capitalism, the government did a bunch of socialism. During the period of time that birthed the idea of the American dream, the government was taxing the absolute shit out of the richest Americans and using that money to provide jobs and welfare programs for everybody else. A single income household working a regular ass job could afford to start a family, buy a...
That's why when like my parents and shit or someone older than me be trying to talk to me about like finances and life and just houses and all, they don't understand. Compared to what this was, one house can support a whole family and all that. 2025, 2020, we're in a total different time. This shit is not going to work anymore, especially if you're really trying to make an excessive amount of money.
House, send their kids to college, and retire at a reasonable age. No wonder people who grew up then gush about capitalism the way they do, because for them, it was great. But at this point, it is disingenuous to use that time period as the example for why capitalism works, because that version of it stopped existing a long time ago. The generation of people who started as beneficiaries of a more equitable system changed the rules once the roles were reversed and they had the power. So what the hell happened? Everything was going...
They changed the roles back and they still got the power. That's all they
well,
did,
there were a lot of things, obviously, but one of the first big dominoes was the U.S.'s involvement in the Vietnam War, which was expensive and deadly, but to be fair, also accomplished nothing. And this had long-term ramifications.
Crazy.
America had been diverting so much money away from manufacturing and towards defense that it opened the door for other growing industrialized...
The stuff that we put our taxes into, chat.
countries to surpass them. More and more products were becoming cheaper to import than they were to produce. This led to factories getting shut down, unemployment starting to creep back up. A recession hits, and we're now facing a pivotal fork in the road in the late 70s. Either we could go back to what worked in the past, prioritize the working class, reinvest into our own infrastructure, try to help lift people out of poverty they've fallen into through no fault of their own.
The theme music is killing me.
Or we say, fuck the government. We don't owe you shit. We're stupid, isn't that right?
I don't even know my own name.
Exactly. The deal is you pay taxes and we don't do anything. And you like that, right? They like that?
Sounds good to me.
The prevailing philosophy throughout the 80s
This nigga is stupid.
became trickle-down economics. The logic being, oh man, these rich people are really handcuffed. You know, I bet if we lowered the corporate tax rate from 70 all the way to eventually 28%, then companies will use all that extra money to pay their employees more. I mean, if there's one thing we know about rich people is that they're always looking out for the little guy.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, this hasn't worked out yet, but it's only been 55 years, so the jury's still out. See, I would argue that part of
The little guy want to become the big guy.
the reason why companies in the 40s and 50s were so generous with their extra profits was because the tax rate was so high. I mean, think about it. If you're faced with the decision between giving a huge chunk of money to the government or redistributing it back to the employees who helped you earn it in the first place, you would be much more likely to do the latter because it's an investment in your own company. It's a mutually beneficial exchange.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Compensated workers are proven to be more loyal and more.
I mean, not everybody could be a boss, though. And I feel like I gotta tell y'all that. Like, not everybody is meant to be a boss. It takes a lot of work to be your own boss. You have to tell yourself to do it. You don't got no one telling you to do shit. You feel me? So I mean, I understand why bosses get paid what bosses get paid because they deserve more. Point blank period. They do more. So if you're doing more, you deserve more.
Productive, and those are two things that you want. Now, there were other factors as well, loosening a lot of anti-monopoly regulations, the legalization of stock buybacks, but this dramatically lower tax rate is a big reason why the 80s serves as the dividing line on just about every economic graph you could look at. This was the beginning of a long and continuous transfer of wealth from the working class to the top 1%. And while it would be very easy to just blame all of this on then President Reagan, that would only be